So, this important 10th chapter with the WhatsApp, the real content, which of course not even the author got at the time, because it's the same like with Peter Sịnger. So before I wrote that chapter, I read 90 essays on things that matter. I first wanted to listen, but then I read it. Otherwise, I didn't. But the issue is, it's not like it's well done. It's a good selection, right? And I would not be able to come up with this much like constructivity, positive things. But recently, like, this movement was silenced, and this fight, he is not, he's just not, when it comes to picking the right fights, he's not a good, leader. It's just what it is. So like, when it comes to this effective part, he's just not effective because he doesn't get, he doesn't think ahead. For him, this battle might be the right one because he gave up, like he's too old, that there will really be a change. And that's not enough. That's like with the churches, that's not enough. So it's not something you can postpone for a generation you are not in touch with. You would be one of the first philosophers that would be in touch with like the Greta Thunberg generation. And that's a complete failure on a communication level when it comes to this effectiveness. It's the same as my author making that statement, or my aunt organizing an event against discrimination and racism. You are not exempt from the discussion because you organize something, right? And that's already where they basically crack down. There is no logic in their psychology. So that's just a language they don't get. So perfect example, like with this other book project, which they do not dare to mention yet. So this was even more I like supported it, but he does not need a secretary no longer. He would need maybe a lawyer, but even more so psychological assistance. So he doesn't dare to plan for the case that the judges Berns in Strasbourg will finally make a decision on the case. He doesn't want to prepare for, that's the excuse. And so what is missing with Peter Sịnger is that you properly allocate those stepped mountains. And he is, when it comes to the psychological development level, which would be the important new branch of philosophy, that's completely lost on him. He's not even on the level of the Bible and like Jesus 2000 years ago, and from Bach, Heinrich Heine. So the real progress we don't even have to talk about. And then you always end up with this black-white. So that's exactly the case with the family of the the author of my book, like, they will burn out. So that's not the problem. Peter Sịnger himself will not burn out. Like, that's not the issue. But he doesn't get that his like success does not work for others, right? So that's it's psychological. So he is psychologically underdeveloped, and most of the climate activists I encountered have the same issue. So they don't want to think it through, and then they end up like my father and not social at all. They don't want to like and not so completely underdeveloped. That's still better than nothing. But if you do not have it's gotten much tougher. So to get relevant and like Peter Sịnger as well, it's way too late. Like, he's way too old. Like Bernie Sanders. Well, it's not like, but of course, like the speeches of Bernie Sanders, you could easily replace with hologram nowadays, right? The problem is that there is like there is no, like, they don't even. Well, it's not entirely true. But that would be the real. That would so both, like, he writes the speeches for Greta, and like AOC was so they tried, right? But it's not enough, and the problem is that most like 99% of the people doesn't even get it, that this would be like our responsibility. That would be proper like what is the term, like this utilitarism, effective altruism, so those, yeah. And well, there's this gap, so he doesn't even attempt to do like with God, right? So because he has rightfully so such a problem with like the political influenced by like church power, well, it's full of that, right? And that leads to a lot of not just suffering, unnecessary deaths, because, well, they are fighting ideology war, which is would be like, you could win it with like proper education system, but like we don't have that in Australia or the United States no longer. That's the issue, and so we are not winning that battle. And just essays, well, again, maybe back then that was needed, and now you could upscale it with AI, but to allocate die Schuldenfrage, that's what the Quran and the Bible is about. And someone like my aunt already kind of stops the conversation when the term Schuld is put in the but that's what it would be about, this judgment. So that would be the real task for us, now that I introduced that scientifically sound. It's just not yet approved, because they cannot think scientifically, my psychosocial environment. But like the end of times, that would be our responsibility to judge. And that's something ChatGPT can do easily in those cases. So the worst part is someone like my author or my family, that they find ways where the argumentation, or Peter Sịnger, where the argumentation with ChatGPT, like that, it's easy. ChatGPT can easily follow the train of thought. So it's there, well, and it would end up that we would need mental health activism, not just for the environment. And yes, the problem is when Greta was in the Pippi Langstrumpf age, that made sense. Now she is like all those others, just a woman that does not fully develop. And you will not, it's not, you cannot look up to that no longer. It would already need the next, but it doesn't help to do that time and time again. So you would need the next Pippi Langstrumpf. But that is something my generation missed. We never had a Greta. So I'm 40, right? So that's definitely what we missed. But it's not enough. You don't just need to stand up to your grandparents. You need to stand up to your parents. And for most, Greta would now be the parent. And so they don't get that. They don't get that all. And this is why nowadays it's just it's tough, and they think they put everything on the line, but it's initially it had potential now, because again psychologically completely underdeveloped, the philosopher behind it. That's the root cause. That's the root issue. He doesn't dare to think it through. And the excuse is always like that, he has those, I'm not. So the problem is that many of the ideas would align, but he's just not, like this SRF Sternstunde Philosophie. Those are just not, you cannot take it serious. So this, what is that? Barbara Bleisch and whatnot, because they themselves, so philosophy you need to apply, like physics, like physiotherapy. You cannot just debate about it. And that's even worse than that there is no connection between God and politics, and science and politics. That there is no connection between mental health activism and all this other nonsense, right? So the problem is that exactly. It's that simple. We would in most questions arrive at the same result. But he has no passion behind his content, his speeches, because he, like everyone from that generation I know, avoided the real work. That would have been the quest, right? But I don't, he never answered. You cannot even ask, he's too high caliber, like the Gates Foundation. I tried, so that's not